Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm in Montrose, Colorado at the moment. If you want to find out anything about me, go to MySpace, Twitter, or Facebook, where I have pages. This here is just a little trivia about the television show Gilligan's Island and things that if you're a fan, as I once was, and still like it from time to time, um, you might want to know. There's some interesting facts about behind the show scenes by Sherwood Schwartz. First of all, there was a pilot that was never aired. You can go online and find out what that pilot is, and even see photos of it. I think you can find it on YouTube. Just like there was a different theme song at one time, and it was changed. It was CBS's doing. After the first episode bombed, which never aired, they decided to. Sherwood Schwartz asked CBS, "How about letting me take over and get the right people?" So he changed the professor, and he changed Marianne and Ginger, and he brought in Tina Louise, Dawn Wells, and Russell Johnson. There were two actresses, another actor that portrayed those characters, but they just didn't fit the bill. Actually, Tina Louise's character, Ginger, was actually Sherwood Schwartz actually wanted James Mansfield to play it, but James Mansfield's husband, who was her manager, I believe, at the same time, said it was a stupid show and wouldn't work. Same thing with Natalie Schafer, who played Lovey. She didn't think the show was going to last long either. You know, she went ahead and took the role because the first episode or two was going to be filmed in Hawaii. Actually, they were going to try to film it all in Hawaii, but they couldn't. And she just thought it was a great way to get to Hawaii, you know, and have a free vacation there. But show went on for 3 years. But after a couple episodes, they found out how expensive it is. They decided to go back to California and film it there. Same place where Mary Tyler Moore and Roseanne was filmed. Mary Ann's character, you know, a little farm girl from Kansas, is modeled after the character Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, who's also from Kansas as well. Tina Louise also hated the show. She didn't like it. She was fighting with the producers all the way through the show. She thought the show was going to be about her, and never mind the fact that it was called Gilligan's Island and not Tina Louise's Island or Ginger's Island or whatever. Uh, she was eventually fired by either her agent or her manager for not renewing up on one of the movies. She didn't appear in any of the movies. She just hated the show, said it made her ruined her career, despite the fact she won. She went on to play in Dallas, which I hated that show because it's a soap. But she apparently just didn't like the show, and I think she was upset that she wasn't the star of it. But again, this was called Gilligan's Island, and the way I look at it, when you're working, you got food on the table, you got a roof over your head, be thankful. And she wasn't very thankful. And that's sad. Show went on for 3 years. It was the number one show, at least in the 1980s or 90s, I believe, probably the 90s, in the world, because most people around the world can understand Gilligan's Island. There's nothing technical about it, even though it makes absolutely no sense. You know, and of course, at the beginning, it was supposed to be a 6-hour cruise, and then they cruise, and they dropped it down to a 3-hour cruise. But when you see all the stuff they bring in there, where the house have all that money, briefcase of money, all that liquor, and all those costumes and stuff like that, you got to be kidding. But it worked. That's what made the show so funny, was it worked. The reason it was canceled was to make way. They say, I was told by Dawn Wells not by me personally, but in an interview she had, that it was Bonanza, that was that CBS that Gilligan's Island was knocking off the air in order to stay on the air, and it's going, I think, into its 4th year. And but there's another website that says it was Gunsmoke. Apparently, the lady who was the president of CBS's wife, named Babe, apparently didn't like Gilligan's Island. It was either Bonanza or Gunsmoke that was coming on Monday night, and if Gilligan's Island stayed on, it would get knocked off the air. So they knocked Gilligan's Island off to keep Gunsmoke or Bonanza. The person that was going to play Gilligan at one time was actually Jerry Van Dyke, the brother of Dick Van Dyke. Apparently, according to the biography on Gilligan's Island, Gilligan's name was actually Willie Gilligan. That's what Sherwood Schwartz wanted. I don't know if if that was actually the set name for that, but it's called Willie Gilligan. Raquel Welch was actually also in competition to play Ginger on Gilligan's Island. That would have been interesting. That's kind of like the movie True Grit with John Wayne. At one time, it was going to be Elvis Presley was up for consideration to play the sidekick of John Wayne in the movie True Grit. Maybe not sidekick, but you know, uh, the other law officer. Uh, for some reason, John Wayne picked Glenn Campbell. I don't know why, but he did. He might maybe liked his music. I don't know. But Glenn Campbell did a great job, even though he criticizes his role on there that's being terrible. I thought it was great. Oh, and also Pat Priest from the Munsters was also up for the role of Marianne. But apparently Dawn Wells got it, and lucky for us that she did, because all the characters fit just perfect in there. And of course, Mr. Howell, if you remember him, he used to be not the character, but James Backus, he used to be the voice of Mr. Magoo in the cartoons. Of course, that was before my time. And when the show begins, you see when the boat starts going out and they start singing the song and stuff. Apparently, according to the biography, it was being filmed at Newport Beach, California. It says here the rock jetties at the entrance of the Newport Bay can be seen during the opening theme during the line of the 3 hours tour at the Minnow Hordes Out. So that's, as you see it going out, that's actually Newport, California, one of the entrances there to I guess boats and cells and whatever. Anyway, that's just some tips about Gilligan's Island. Although I do like the several episodes where they try to make out Gilligan to be like he's just a boy. You hear Marianne's character always going, "He's just a boy." Well, he was about 29 years old when the show began. He was born in 1935, so that would have made him right at 29 when the show started in '64. And it went on 67, and then some of the latter episodes, you can actually see part of part of gray hair coming up. So he wasn't anything but a boy. There's a lot of these shows try to portray people to be younger than they are, like Pam Dauber and Mork and Mindy. I think she was like almost 30 when she started that show, but they in one episode she says, "I'm only 21 years old." They try to make you out younger than a lot of these entertainers are. A lot of these entertainers get started late in life, like Suzanne Summers. A lot of people thought she was real young when she started out. She was not. But she's still a gorgeous lady, and she'll always be when she's 100. But that's just some simple information I thought you might want to know. I've always wondered, about the opening scene where that was filmed at. I always thought it was up in Kauai, Hawaii. They did film the first pilot in Kauai, and I think maybe the first couple episodes in Kauai. I'm not really sure. But that's not where the opening scene begins at. It's in Newport, California. And so it goes. And I had some Samoans once when I lived in Oahu who tried to trick me into believing that there was a area over there that looked just like the beginning scenes of Gilligan's Island. It had sailboats and boats in it, docks and so forth. And I always had me believing for a while that was it, but it wasn't it. They're just having some fun. Anyway, I just thought this might be interesting. You might be interested in this. It'd been interesting to see if Raquel Welch had played Ginger, or James Manfield, or Jerry Van Dyke playing Gilligan. I don't think Jerry Van Dyke, as much as I like the guy and as much as I like Dick Van Dyke, I don't think he would have made it. Bob Denver was perfect, Bob Denver was actually from New York. A lot of people think he's from West Virginia. That's where he lived at after the show and so forth, off and on, and had his own radio show up until the time he died. I think he died in 2005, and that was quite a show. It didn't make much sense, especially about the guys on the surfboard that catches the tsunami all the way to Gilligan's Island, and they catches the tsunami back to Hawaii, but hits a rock about the time he gets there, and he can't remember what island that he was on the island. This show was just absolutely ridiculous, but that's what made it hilarious, especially the ones where they go disappear. They have the lion on the thing. They have all these natives chasing them all over the place. Bank robbers hiding out there. Astronauts coming down. It was hilarious. It was just stupid, but it was funny, and I think that was it. And of course, as a young boy, which I actually did not see Gilligan's Island until it was in reruns in the 70s. What do young boys watch Gilligan's Island for? For Gilligan, no, we watch it for Marianne and Ginger, or Tina Louise and Dawn Wells. Why do we young boys watch I Dream of Jeannie for? Because of the Major? No. For Barbara Eden. She was a gorgeous lady. Why don't any of us watch Mork and Mindy for? Robin Williams? No, for Pam Dauber. These are gorgeous ladies, and they're just a delight to look at. They're delightful people. And they're still very delightful. That's the way it goes. I just hope this little trivia might interest somebody out there, and hope you enjoyed it and learned a few things from it, because it was quite an interesting show.